Cancelled.
Schweezy.
So I don't think anyone understands how much I hate this movie. I don't know if the world understands it. For those of you who don't know, every December during the Christmas season, I watch a Christmas movie and we review it and we all go over it as friends. And I really just wanted to torture myself this year. I don't know why I picked this. I waited. I knew I had to watch it. I think it was like Friday or Saturday. I'm like, I know I have to watch this, but I don't want to. And I avoided it. I was doom scrolling on Instagram and TikTok, doing whatever I had to do to avoid this. Now, I know a lot of you probably think when I do these movie reviews, for those of you, if this is not your first time, you probably just think of, I just watch a movie and then just write some notes down afterwards or whatever, and it's not that long. I'm watching the movie and I'm taking notes the entire movie. That's how I have to do it. So it's a very in-depth process. These movies are, and it really is giving me a stomach ulcer, I have to say. The other two I've done this year, the Santa Claus with the E at the end, and How the Grinch Stole Christmas. Those Santa Claus is okay. The Grinch I love, so that has not been a struggle so far. But the Polar Express has got to be, first of all, my least favorite Christmas movie. I think if I had to pick one Christmas movie we can just get rid of, it's the Polar Express. And hopefully I can convince you to hate this movie just as much as me while watching this. And, like I said, I'm trying to avoid watching this. And then I got to one point, I'm trying to bargain with myself to not have to watch this movie again. And I say to myself, well, this year I want to pick movies that I have like a kind of like a good story to, and that kind of in my past, there's something that's kind of like connected with this movie particularly when I think about this movie, and I have like a memory with it. So I was like that, and then I thought I don't think I have any good memories with the Polar Express, and then I remembered, and I was like, fuck me, that in my high school pep/jazz band, it was the same thing, small school. Every Christmas time, we would play Hot Chocolate. And while watching this movie, I also remember we did Rockin' on Top of the World too. But I remember we did that, and I thought I forgot these melodies from many years of drinking and some other things too. I thought I was getting to the point where I have forgotten high school completely. I thought I got there. I thought I was getting close to that. Turns out I wasn't. This just brought back all the memories and everything. And the reason why I'm saying this, though, with the Hot Chocolate, there's the funny story that I have involved with this song. The idea is there was a guy in the band. He basically just had a monotone voice. Not really a big deal in like an instrumental band. Not a big deal until at the end of Hot Chocolate, it was like da 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 or something like that. I'm still trying to forget that melody. And at the end of it, they're like da da da, and then we stop, and then everyone had to say Hot Chocolate, and so into the tune of this Hot Chocolate. That's how you had to say it. And this guy's a Hot Chocolate, and he would always last longer, and we'd always just laugh at him to the point where then he would just mouth along to the words, and then we'd call him out for not saying it too. You didn't say it. We told this kid teacher, and the teacher just thought it was funny, so he's like, yeah, doesn't seem like he's actually getting bullied. So it's just kind of one of those things. We did weird things in that band. I remember we had an Asian kid play the piano, and we were all taking riffs off him, and so then I taught everyone in the band to do da na 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 da na 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 na, but in like a jazz swing type version. It's like da na 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 na. Look, folks, it was like 2000. It was like 2011, 2012. It was a different time back then. I don't think I would condone doing that now. I don't think now would be the appropriate time to be doing that. Oh, but anyway, so yeah, that's the story. So every time I hear da-da, Hot Chocolate, and I go, Hot Chocolate. It's just like not on rhythm with anything. So that makes me laugh. But I thought I forgot this song. But it turns out I didn't. So anyways, I guess guess we have to get super into this movie. Now, I know some of you have seen this movie before, and you're like, I know it's like human motion capture is a lot of the thing, which I thought would have caught on. Kind of, it did, but not for 100% animated movies, more for like the Avengers, like they did with Thanos and Hulk, not with fully cartoons. And one thing I learned, like, it just looks creepy. I thought maybe it's a product of the time. I don't know. I like obviously went on Google. I think I just Googled Polar Express, and then one of the, those bottom little results with the arrows you can point out to expand it. It's like, why is the Polar Express so creepy? And I'm like, didn't even have to either. We're getting really good with these ads are getting really close to like getting in my brain, or just this is what everyone thinks about this movie. So it turns out from what it said there is that with the eyes, I guess, so motion capture can't capture eyes. This is from like a professional who's talking about this. They may be able to now. I'm not sure, or they're just way better at doing CGI on eyes. But yeah, with motion capture eyes, they did not do a good job, at least in the editing or part of that. I don't know a lot about it, but I do know in the one thing, you have to get a lot of details in there to make it look good. And then there's the Uncanny Valley. If you don't know what the Uncanny Valley is, Uncanny Valley is it's a weird thing with kind of animation CGI type of thing. When you get to a point where something's so realistic, it looks weird, and you can tell it's weird. A lot of studios, Disney's been doing this a lot. You have, obviously, if you watch Rogue One, you have that one guy, the old guy, who was like Darth Vader's number one for A New Hope. And then Princess Leia was in it at the end. Spoilers for a movie that's super old. Well, no, not that old. I think it came out 2017? 2016. That's when it came out. So, spoilers for that. Young Princess Leia is in there, but it's not played by Carrie Fisher. So, when we, in regards to keep moving that, so it's like when you look at it too long, it can be weird. So, a lot of times they do a lot of cuts and stuff like that. We're getting really good. Obviously, if you watched any of the Marvel de-aging stuff, like they're doing a pretty good job with that. You don't notice it too much, but this movie was like 2004, 2005. I'm not looking up the year, folks. I don't want this movie in my mind anymore. I'm just getting this out, and then we're never talking about this movie again. So everything just looks like it's a monstrosity. The whole thing creeps me out. It's a monstrosity. I don't even know if I took good notes. So with all that being said, let's just
jump into it.
Let's just get into this movie. So okay, so the movie starts out with narrator Tom Hanks talking about like when he was a kid and believing in Santa. And then the narrator doesn't come back until the very end. Just want to make that clear. So I guess this is Tom Hanks as a child, or the child turns into Tom Hanks as well. It's like some of the other characters. Tom Hanks, for how good of an actor he is, I hope this is his worst movie. So yeah, this kid, I guess, is, we started with this kid. I guess his name is a Hero Kid. He's played by the guy who played Junie from Spy Kids, and the guy who's married to Meghan Trainor, unfortunately. So I'm just gonna call him Junie, because I think that's the only way I'm gonna be. There's not a lot of, they didn't do a lot of good names in this movie, so I'm having to make half of this shit up. So Junie from Spy Kids, he's very skeptical about the existence of Santa and Christmas this year, and I guess his Christmas spirit is very, very low. So then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, he's in bed, and all of a sudden a fucking train stops by his bedroom. Like I said, there's no train track, so this just makes no fucking sense. And then the train conductor Tom Hanks starts mansplaining to him. It's like, you don't know what the fuck this random ass train is doing outside of no train tracks? This is the Polar Express. Yada, yada, yada. And at first Junie, I guess, he's like, okay, because it's like a crucial year because he's about to not believe in Santa anymore. And that's the theme of this movie, believing in Santa. And so Strange, so he almost does not get on the Strange train with the strange CGI Tom Hanks, but then he ends up getting on there. So we know this kid really wants to get kidnapped on this train. These children just want to get kidnapped. Like, I remember my parents, like, I lived in a town of like 1,000 people, and still my parents were smart enough, like, hey, don't get into a car with a stranger. Like, they just taught me that, and they taught me that so much. I'm like, yeah, I get it. I'm not going to get in a car with a stranger. And to them, it's just like, it's like, we don't want you to get murdered. Especially get raped and murdered. And in my mind, you're annoying me so much, I'm not going to do it. So that's how I wasn't molested. So yeah, he's on the train, and then we meet that know-it-all kid. We all know this kid. Because we all want to punch him in the face. I don't have to explain it to you. If you're watching, I'm going to try to pull up a clip of him. He's annoying. And we all know someone like this kid. And we'd all love to just give him a fucking punch in the face and watch him cry, and no one give a shit about him crying. So, and then they're like, check his pockets. Oh, he has a lisp too. And sometimes people have lisps because it's unfortunate, and some people deserve a lisp. This kid deserved a lisp. So then, like, I guess he's asked for his ticket, and then the creepy conductor's like, check your pocket. And then they find out this creepy conductor put the ticket in his pocket. Even more weird, puts 2 letters at the beginning of it, which you'll find out later what that's supposed to mean. And then they try to pick up this kid in a 1920s nightgown, and he almost does the same thing. He almost doesn't want to get on, then he decides the last minute he wants to get on, and he can't catch the train. And so Junie from Spy Kids obviously pulls the emergency brake, and conductor Tom Hanks is not cool about that. But the kid gets on. He doesn't get to sit with the other kids, though. He's sitting in his own separate compartment, and it's not going to hang out with those kids. And I bet you're in your mind, you're thinking, oh man, Tom Hanks' conductor is kind of a dick. And I will tell you that this kid is also kind of a bitch. So I see why Tom Hanks didn't want that energy with the cool kids, and minus that annoying kid. So we move on further into, there they start singing the Hot Chocolate song, where, like I mentioned previously, years and years of alcohol abuse and drug abuse has not made me forget this. And one problem I never noticed with this song is they say never let the hot chocolate cool. Now, I'm a big fan. I feel like everyone, with coffee or hot chocolate, there's like a perfect temperature, and you want to drink it at the perfect temperature. I miss it a lot on coffee, but I also kind of like to just chug it all at once, kind of do it Italian style. If you didn't know what Italian style like espresso is, I could be wrong here, but I thought I heard this one time, or I read it somewhere online. Was it a credible website? Maybe. That Italian people, they don't like sit in coffee shops. They like get espresso, and then they just like chug it down and then go on their way, stuff like that. I could be wrong, so don't act like I am a genius, but I may have to. So they sing this silly song about hot chocolate, and where it's boiling hot. They just want you to burn your tongue. So for some reason, yeah. So, but though there's the black girl, and I know you're thinking, do you really have to call her a black girl? I'm gonna be honest, she's the only black girl in this film. It's gonna be easier to sort her out from the rest. She decides to get save an extra cup of hot chocolate for the kid in the 1920s nightgown, because he didn't get any because he's in a separate cart that they're not giving it to. And in the process of that, the conductor wants to go with her, and her ticket's left there. And then this is the craziest part about this movie. And I think this is when I realized, like, I can't fucking do this anymore. When I was watching this movie, I'm like, I cannot fucking do this. So the ticket, I'm just gonna read my notes. It flies out the window. It goes with wolves, like what they're running, they're building wind and everything. It's flying with them. It's caught by an eagle. eaten by the baby eagle, and it's in like a crumpled ball. And then the baby eagle spits the ball out and rolls down a hill, creating a snowball. It hits the front of the train and then lands exactly in the back of the train in like the vent or something, which is oddly convenient. And the stupidest shit I have ever seen in a movie in my entire life. May I say stupider than Nightmare on Elm Street? There, I said it. Maybe this may be stupider than that. At least that movie stuck to theme. This was just nonsense. And then also, yeah, and then they realize she doesn't, well, and in that process, she doesn't have her ticket, so the conductor takes her away, and they go to the top of the train, and that makes me wonder, why do trains, I don't understand the whole, maybe I don't understand train culture, but, and I don't think they do it these days, but I think it might be the olden days. Why were they checking the tickets while the train was already moving and on its way? Wouldn't it have made more sense to do like airlines do today and check and make sure you have a ticket before they let you on the plane, before it leaves the ground and flies away? I don't know how long it took for them to do that. I have to imagine, like New York and shit, they're not fucking checking everything. You slide your card before you even get on the subway or the train or whatever. But in other old train world, they don't. That's not how they're doing it.
This is the type of guy you get.
So this is just bad business practice. So obviously Junie from Spy Kids wants to save the black girl because he found her ticket, conveniently flew back into the train, and then he runs into homeless man Tom Hanks hitching a ride on the roof of the train. He offers Junie a drink from a rusty tin can. Like I said, the kid's kidnapped. Now he's taking a drink from a stranger. I can't make this up. How these kids are not dead, I don't know. Maybe they're having fever dreams. I don't know. But yeah, and then eventually, after almost dying skiing on the roof, it's a crazy thing that they're not dead from skiing on the roof. He makes it to, I guess, the engine room. I guess she's steering the train now. That's what happens when you don't. Is that what happens when you don't have a ticket for a train and hop on the train, and you're a child and they don't want to just throw you off? And then also, why are they asking for tickets? Because like this guy is kidnapping. Like you're kidnapping these children to go on your creepy train, and then you're asking for a ticket. Okay. There's not a lot of good logic in this. And so he finds the black girl. And this is the point at which, this is where the start of a predicament where I was wondering, this is 30 minutes into this movie. I think it's like an hour and a half, plus or minus some minutes. And this is the point. I'm like, why the fuck am I watching this? Am I having a fever dream? But sadly, it's just a movie, a really shitty movie, and I was only 30 minutes in, and I wanted it to end. So in this whole fucking scene, like there's caribou all over the train tracks, and then they somehow get that resolved by pulling a guy's beard, which I don't know how, and no one's not dead. Oh yeah, and they drive a train over a frozen lake and barely make it back on the actual tracks. Which I don't know. How is everyone on this train alive? By the time it's like bumping back and forth, I didn't see any seatbelts on this thing. Everyone in that train has to be either dead or all have concussions. And then after that, they meet the kid in the 1920s nightgown, and him and the black girl. And I know I'm not supposed to say it in this kind of sentence, but this is the only way I can say it. They sing a gay little song, and I'm trying not to remember the song on purpose, because it's a gay little song, not the normal kind of gay where you just love who you love, the bad kind of gay. We all know the bad kind of gay. And then and then they're like, oh, we're almost at the North Pole. And then, what did I write down here? Oh yeah, and then they get off the train because they're going to the big ceremony of Santa giving the first gift of Christmas, and the kid in the 1920s nightgown is not allowed because conductor Tom Hanks fucking hates this kid, like for no reason at all, which I kind of get because he does start to act like a little bitch as the story goes on. And then they're trying to, Junie and the black girl try to get him off the train, and the train keeps moving, and then this whole thrilling scene of the workshop and seeing all this shit, and then we learned the nightgown kid's name is Billy. Finally, someone in this movie besides Santa Claus has a name. It's only two characters, Santa and Billy. And Billy, the nightgown bandit, he sees one of his presents and he's super obsessed with it. And he's like, you're gonna get that present, right? And he's like holding on to it for like his entire existence. I need this present. And that's why he's a little bitch. And so they make it into Santa's giant ass bag, and they have a weird bag drop on the sleigh. Then we meet the fucking elves, which are the creepiest fucking things ever. You thought just normal motion capture kids are creepy. Motion capture elves are my fucking sleep paralysis demons that I've not been able to stop thinking about. And then obviously the elves are getting ready for this big old first gift of Christmas celebration, and all the elves are walking around getting ready to go as if Santa's a fucking celebrity. But isn't Santa their boss? Now, I've had jobs and I've had bosses, and I would never treat my boss like a celebrity. That's one thing. And then Santa finally walks out, and it's to Frank Sinatra's version of Santa Claus is Coming to Town. Now, I love Sinatra, big Sinatra fan. Not the times where he beat women, but just his cool style of music and his ability to sing. But I think they should have used the Bruce Springsteen version of Santa Claus Come to Town. Okay, that's just my opinion. That's the better version. And then I like it because Bruce Springsteen has like a stroke in the end. Santa, Santa, Santa. So I think that's really funny. And also, yeah, the reason why you should do that version, because Santa's the boss and Bruce Springsteen's the boss. Therefore, two bosses should be together doing that shit. Then, plus also, this movie has a lot of original music, but then also like just random recordings of Frank Sinatra. I don't know. Maybe they should put another original in there, or a specific cover for this movie. I don't know. But I remember this movie sucks, so that's why they didn't think of that. So, and then reindeer is, I guess, excited, and a bell from the reindeer falls off, and Junie, shaking the bell, finally believes in Santa, even though he's on a train. He took a train to the North Pole and is literally seeing Santa right now. He's like, now I believe in Santa. Took you fucking long enough, dude. And then I guess, and then Santa's talking to all the kids, and that know-it-all little bitch kid, he's like, starts roasting him. He's like, you need patience and humility, which is which if we're going to translate what Santa is about to say, Santa's saying, shut the fuck up. And also, I'm not sure if you guessed this, but Santa is also played by Tom Hanks with a weird voice lowering plugin. Like, I know what you're thinking here. High budget movie. They did not. This is like a 5-second thing in any audio workstation. I'm telling you right now. And I guess after that, Junie gets the first gift of Christmas, and he chooses the bell that fell off that reindeer. Which, bitch, it's Santa. He could have got you anything he wants. And he chose that fucking bell. Okay, and then they're like, all right, first gift of Christmas, and now I gotta work one day a year. And then a Steven Tyler elf sings Rockin' on Top of the World, which we also played in my high school jazz band. And now years of drinking and drugs have failed me to forget that now, too. And that memory's back. And rockin' on top of the world, Not on top of the world. That's all the song is. It's stupid. They are on their ride home and they have to reshow their tickets. And turns out, like, the two little letters, the hole punch at the beginning, equal a letter. And Junie said believe. The know-it-all little bitch kid, he got learn, which is short for, which I'm assuming the learn he got on his ticket is short for learn how to avoid these hands. Is that the only one I put? Oh yeah, those were the only two I got because I wanted to talk about that bitch kid, the bitch know-it-all kid. And then Junie puts the bell in his robe pocket, the one with the hole in it, because he's a fucking idiot. And he's like, oh man, I guess I lost the bell. And he's like, oh well. And then all the kids get dropped off at home, and they walk back into their walk into their front doors. No concerned parents at all. Their children have been missing for several hours with a weird train conductor. And to make matters worse, I'm saying that right, when our boy Junie walks in the door, he's like, Merry Christmas. He just yells Merry Christmas at the top of his lungs. Still, no one wakes up. His parents aren't concerned at all. No, none of these parents care. This is just the story of bad parents. And also, this movie has more fucking endings than Lord of the Rings. I swear to God. Next morning, our next ending, luckily Santa found the missing bell, brought it back to good old Junie, and he opened it under the tree Christmas morning, and his parents were like, it's broken. They can't hear it because they don't believe in Santa. And now we're back to fully narrator Tom Hanks is back here, saying that over the years, some people couldn't hear the bell anymore, but I could still hear the bell because I still believe in Santa. From the time a creepy guy on a train kidnapped me. Then roll credits to Believe by Josh Groban. And there was no post-credit scene. I didn't stick around, but I kind of skimmed through the film. And there was no post-credit scene. And honestly, I think Nick Fury recruiting someone for the Avengers would have made this movie a lot better. Anyways, though, that's the movie. This piece of shit movie. So when I watch a movie, I always like to think to myself, what is the lesson we learned in this movie? So we got the ones I came to my top of my head first. The uncanny valley is a real fucking thing, and we all need to be aware of that. And thank God they're not doing shit like that anymore. This movie is also fucking terrifying. I assume if you're a parent, it could be even more terrifying how a creepy guy with a creepy train conductor kidnaps your kids for a few hours. And then all jokes aside, though, at least kind of in like the last two movies, the Santa Claus and the Grinch, there was like the Grinch, I think Christmas is more than presents. It's about, caring for one another, blah, 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 that bullshit. And then the Santa Claus is all about, it's not necessarily a lesson or anything, but it's just kind of an interesting, like, what if this guy became Santa? It's like a cool, kind of an interesting story. This movie, the whole meaning of the story is like, you believe in Santa, and then, Santa's not real in real life, but also, like, that's the lesson of this movie. This movie you don't learn anything from this movie. Like, they try to make this kid look like he's like a great person and always like wants to save the day and becomes a better person. I don't think he becomes a better person by the end of it. He's just like, now I believe in Santa from this traumatizing trip. Like, that's what this movie is about. And I have to say, I never want to watch this fucking thing again for the rest of my life. I never want to see this movie ever again. And I mean it. Well, look at you. You just finished one of the many highlights from Cancel Schweezy. Glad you watched, and I hope you learned something important in your life today. We have more highlights available for you to watch, out now, available now for you to watch. And we got full episodes as well, so don't be stingy and go watch another highlight. And like I said, stay awesome.